Have you found yourself constantly worrying about something or the other? Constantly anticipating some adversities? Or manifesting hiccups and problems time and again because of your constant focus on the possibility of adversities? First, let's understand, why do we anticipate the worst? The beginning can happen with inheritance of impressions of adversities from our ancestors, from our parents, and at times from the cultural influence. At times, our teachers also have taught us to anticipate the worst. It's quite possible that you've gone through a worst time of your life very early in childhood, and you spend rest of the time anticipating the worst and perhaps fearing that the past adversities may repeat once again. I knew a young girl born in a very rich family. However, soon after her birth, the family finances went through a deep nosedive and they had to struggle. While rest of her siblings were pretty self-assured financially in spite of the financial slump and difficult phase, this little young girl always felt insecure, even when her father regained the lost finances. She's not the only one. People who've witnessed health challenges or a close friend dying of cardiac arrest may start anticipating the worst health challenge for themselves. You may think that by anticipating the worst, you can be very well prepared to face the adversities. However, that's not always the case. The more you anticipate, the more you think about the adversities, and the more you think about the adversities, the more you manifest them. So, inadvertently, what you resist tends to persist, and you'll end up manifesting all that you've been anticipating and worrying about. Eventually, you may end up manifesting all that you've been avoiding and worrying about. That's the way your subconscious mind functions. And that's all the more reason for you to stop worrying and start relying on yourself to be able to handle any adversity and any difficulty. Second reason is the karmas. If there is a guilt of having done something wrong as per your past life pre-programming, you tend to anticipate the worst in your life as well. The third reason is heavy curses from teachers, parent figures, or inherited ancestrally or from past life pre-programming. These are powerful adverse statements given to you or uttered in your vulnerable moments. Those adverse statements can affect your life forever. Let me give you an example. There was a young man who was always sick. No sooner he recovers from one ill health, he will manifest another problem, and he was in and out of doctor's cabin all the time. When we regressed him, he went back to the third day of his life, and he could see himself being examined by the pediatrician, and the pediatrician was telling his father that this child is not likely to survive. So the young man constantly anticipated ill health and eventually death. After regression, he understood the root cause and worked with remedial statements and restored his health. There's so many people who suffer from The adverse statements made by seniors, adults, and parent figures or teacher figures without even realizing how badly they're getting affected by them. One more reason for anticipation is deep association of anticipation with progress, growth, and success. A young girl, before every exam, she would be down with severe anxiety and yet would top the class. When I worked with her, she said that I'm scared of letting go of my anxiety because anxiety makes me work better and pass the exams in a better way. With a little work and radical statements, she understood that she doesn't have to feel anxious. She can be a happy go lucky child and do better in her exams. Today, she's still topping the class and yet enjoying the whole preparation time and having fun all the way till exams. I've also found some people nurturing their anxiety to get attention and sympathy from people. The more anxious, more worried, and more upset they are, the more attention they get. And they seem to be enjoying this. Only the person who's going through anxiety, when they go deeper into their subconscious mind, will be able to figure out the precise reasons behind anticipation and anxiety. We cannot judge looking at the superficial expressions. A deep subconscious reasons could be very different, and the roots can be in their past life reprogramming, mother's womb, or in the childhood or childhood traumas. The good news is you can heal these traumas, you can address your curses, you can also overcome old inhibiting patterns and be aware of unhealthy associations and break free from them with Redikall. Let's begin by rediscovering the self assurance. Fighting with anticipation can lead to further anxiety. So the focus should be on rediscovering self confidence and self assurance. If you're confident, if you're self assured, if you know that you can manage come what may, you can handle all adversities and rise beyond it. If you know that you have that kind of resilience, if you know that you are that phoenix who can rise from ashes, you will never feel worried or anxious. You will focus on the best part of your life, on your strength, on your virtues, and on your good fortune. You will be able to be right in the now, right in the moment, and give your best and manifest your best. You will be definitely more of an inspiration for everyone around you. Start rediscovering your self assurance. Here are some tips. Prepare well in advance. Be proactive, but you do not have to anticipate the adversities. Do good exercise. When you're physically active, the level of anticipation is much lower. Have the systems in place. When the systems are not in place, we often manifest and create chaos. Or think about all your positive qualities and good fortune. Start journaling every day and be grateful to yourself for being able to handle the critical situation well, for being able to handle the adversities very effectively. Think of those moments where you've been effective rather than dwelling on those moments where you perhaps failed as per your judgment about yourself. And of course, heal your traumas, heal your past, meet your radical practitioner or a mentor, or do radical courses to learn how to do that for yourself. Start working on yourself, and you'll be amazed how relaxed and self assured you can remain even amidst turbulent times of your life. Here are some of the radical statements you may begin with. I'm going to use catalyst keywords such as transform and transcend. Remember, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are energies which cannot be destroyed, they can only be transformed. And when you transcend all the stories of your life, you can rewrite and reauthor your life with greater awareness and greater consciousness. So recite with me and after me. I transform and transcend my anticipatory anxiety. I transform and transcend my anticipatory anxiety. I transform and transcend my anticipatory anxiety. I transform and transcend my habit of worrying. I transform and transcend my habit of worrying. I transform and transcend my habit of worrying. I transform and transcend my fear of misfortune. I transform and transcend my fear of misfortune. I transform and transcend my fear of misfortune. I transform and transcend my unhealthy beliefs. I transform and transcend my unhealthy beliefs. I transform and transcend my unhealthy beliefs. I transform and transcend my unhealthy associations. I transform and transcend my unhealthy associations. I transform and transcend my unhealthy associations. I awaken self confidence. I awaken self confidence. I awaken self confidence. I awaken self assurance. I awaken self assurance. I awaken self assurance. I awaken self belief. I awaken self belief. I awaken self belief. I synchronize with good fortune. I synchronize with good fortune. I synchronize with good fortune. I synchronize with my highest possible potential. I synchronize with my highest possible potential. I synchronize with my highest possible potential. Keep reciting and stay tuned.